Hello guys, what's up? In this video we are going to study about what is Docker service configuration, what are the commands, and we will actually see the hands-on lab for this. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, so okay, in the previous video I have shown you what is Docker architecture. Okay, the three components that we have seen. Now let us suppose you have a Linux local machine. Okay, you have a Linux local machine or a laptop, okay, in which Linux operating system has been installed, okay, in your laptop. Now when you write a command in your command line, that docker run, okay, ubuntu, okay, if you write this command, okay, you see an error message that docker is not installed. Okay, so now the thing is why? Okay, because the Docker service has not been installed. So first we need to make this Docker service active and running. Okay, so this Docker, what happened is this Docker daemon is coming into action. Okay, when we write this command systemctl start docker. Okay, if we write this command systemctl start docker, then what happen is this Docker daemon is running and active, and what happen is the status, if we check, okay, with the status command, okay, similarly it is active. Okay, now we can also stop this service whenever we want. When it is active, now you can see that the Docker is up and running. Okay, the Docker command is up and running. It is able to you can say that able to see that is this a Docker command or not. Okay, it is able to list. Okay, so now let's actually implement this thing in lab. Okay guys, now we are in this playground. Okay, so let's write this thing. So we just type system cdl start docker. Okay, just start the Docker service. Okay, now let's check the status. So docker systemctl status and docker, I told you it is active and running. Okay, this is our Linux machine, and now in this Linux machine it is active and running. Now let's do one thing. Okay, I'm in the tab 2. Okay, now let's see what we need to do. We want to stop this service. Okay, so what I write, systemctl, okay, stop docker. Okay, so now let's check the status systemctl, okay, status docker. You can see here it is inactive. Okay, you can restart it with using systemctl start docker. Very easy, very simple. Okay, now let's begin to another section. So now guys, okay, now how to access this Docker. Okay, what is this? So okay, you are a DevOps engineer. Okay, I told you that there is a three components in Docker. First is, if you have not watched the previous video, first watch it. Okay, what is the first component? CLI. Okay, second is REST API. Okay, REST API. Third is Docker daemon. Okay, Docker daemon. Okay, this is the third component. Okay, now what happen is, if you are in a local machine, okay, like Linux, okay, you have a local Linux machine, so your CLI and daemon, okay, they are in the same machine. Okay, so you able to access it. But in your real life example, if you are working as a working professional, okay, your client machine, let us suppose in AWS your Docker daemon has been deployed. Okay, this is my daemon. Okay, and it is in US and you are in Japan. Okay, you are in Japan. Now this is your CLI. Okay, if you want to connect with this, okay, you can also do with this command docker d. And if you want to see that if something goes wrong with this daemon, okay, you can also write only docker daemon. It will give you logs that what's wrong with the docker. Okay, it will give you that. And if you want to connect with a service which is remote, then also docker d is very helpful with this extension. You can see this docker. So here you can type docker d. Okay, you can see you can type this docker host and you can able to connect it, okay, to any server. Okay, very easy. Let's see the logs first. Okay, let's check out the logs. So here you can see, guys, okay, I have stopped this docker, okay, and just type this docker d command. So and you can see that this is giving you the logs. Okay, whatever debugging you need to do, we can do it while checking this thing. Okay, whenever something goes wrong, so we can able to see like what's wrong with this service. Okay. Okay, so coming back to this old scenario, okay, so I was telling that this is your CLI and this is your AWS server. Okay, let us suppose it is located here. Okay, if you want to connect, you can connect with this docker d command with the host as a additional argument. Okay, let us consider this only. Okay, and here it is docker d. Okay, let us consider this only. So you might ask me a question that, sir, can we able to access any docker d or any docker daemon with the CLI? The answer is yes, if you are not configured the security in your AWS environment. You in the AWS section, if you have not watched, okay, you have seen that I have defined a key value pair. Okay, there is a key value pair, or we can say that .pem file. Okay, this is basically a authorized certificate that you, in order to able to access the console of AWS or in order to access something on the AWS services or something, we want to access it with the help of this security file. So that security file you can mention in this way. Okay, in this way the certification.pem file you can able to put them into your docker folder and you can able to access it. Okay, so the third point, it has been cleared, I hope so. Okay, very easy, guys. Okay, and it is very important for your exam perspective because your interviewer is asking you that please showcase me the scenario where we need to add the security. So you can say that we can do it, how to access a daemon while you are in some different region. Okay, so this type of questions mostly come into your examinations. So now let's see the structure of the Docker engine command. So these are the this is a structure. So first of all, you have a Docker. Okay, now your current local system Docker is up and running. So you have you need to write Docker object, one of the four objects, guys. What are the four objects we have discussed in the previous video? Image, container, volume, and network. Okay, these are the four objects that we have. Okay, the sub command is what you want to do with this object. Let us suppose for container, you want this container to be running. So this is a sub command. What makes object into action? What you want to do with the object? You can see. Then there are options and arguments. Okay, so this is a full template of a command, how the Docker works. So let us take an example like docker container run dash it. So let's focus on don't focus on this because we'll in the later section we'll discuss it in detail what it is, and Ubuntu. So in one line, if I want to tell you that this command will create a container having Ubuntu as a operating system and it will make it as in running state. Simple. Okay, very simple. So in the similar way, if you want to build an image, you can do it. If you want to attach a container with Ubuntu, you can do it. If you want to kill, you can do it. Okay, simple. Now let's go to the another section. Okay, so now let's see. If you want to create a container, okay, you can create using this command docker container create httpd. Very easily you can see. If you want to list down the container manually, if you want to go to docker profile, okay, you can do it in this. You can go to var lib docker containers. Okay, don't worry, we'll see each and every command in this section, in this letter in this video. Okay, and list all the containers that are running. Okay, so we can list all the containers. Okay, here also ls by going into the directory or by using this command docker container. Okay, basically this ls command will help you to have a those containers that are running, that are in running state. And if your docker containers are in non-running state, you can give -a extension. Okay, simple. Let's see some another commands. If you want to start a container, if it is stop, if your container you have created, now you want to start that container, so this container start and the unique id. While you have created when you have created a container, there is a unique id which is generated. Okay, that is the id of a container that you can give. So first 3 to 4 characters are enough for defining a container, because it's a very big container id. We'll see. Okay, we'll see in the next upcoming lab. Okay, in this video. Okay, so if we run a container, you can see we can run it with a name also. Okay, so this container, if you are not remembering this this id, you can do one thing. Okay, you can assign a name to that container and you can able to run that container. Okay, if you want to rename a container, you can also do that. If you want to execute a command inside that container, you can also do that with the exec command. Okay, so now the best part, we actually implement these things in our docker lab. Okay, so first of all, we want to create a container. So docker, okay, our docker service is up and running. So docker container, okay, docker container create httpd. Okay, we have created. Okay, so one more thing I have told you in the previous video, that if your image is not in the local, it is going to which repository? Docker hub repository. Take it from there and deploy it if it is not finding out in the current local directory. Okay, you can see this is a very long id of a container. Okay, but we want only the first characters of it. Okay, so now what we want to see, we want to see this thing in the file. Okay, so first thing is we can go to var lib, okay, docker, and we can go to this containers folder, and you can see that there is only one container that is available. Or what we can do, docker container ls. Okay, if you want to do this, you can see why it is empty, because this is command for running containers. Okay, so first of all, we want to make this container running and active. Okay, so what we can do, docker container, okay, start this id f0 ff. You can see this docker container started. Now let's see, and now you can see our docker container is active and running. Okay, so it is a good thing. Okay, now what we need to do is we want to change this name. Okay, so docker container rename. Okay, what is the name? Unfelt. Oh my god, what this container is here. Okay, so rename this to abc. Okay, simple. Now let's see, you can see it has been renamed. Another command, if you want to run something inside this container. Okay, so what we need to type, exec, okay, the container id, okay, and host name. we want to execute this command inside the container. You can see host name inside that Docker container. Very simple, guys. Okay, I hope you like this video. Okay, so in the next video we'll dive deep into some more commands and some more topics. So till then, happy learning.